Namaste, Prakash here. Irrespective of whatever damage the current pandemic would have caused, there is one very big learning that we all can take forward into the rest of our lives. It has for the first time made people look within and maybe consciously or subconsciously make them look at the difference between need and want. It's a very old topic, nothing new, yet it assumes significance by force or otherwise. We have been forced by nature to look at life through the lens of living on needs as compared to wants. For many, it's harsh, painful, yet it is something that has really brought very close to what nature would maybe want us to do. Live based on needs. What is the difference? When you're having food, for example, once the food crosses the throat, you're chewed and eaten well and then swallowed it. As long as it has the basic nutrient and other values essential to sustain you, anything that you eat is sufficient. Yet, the taste buds, the money power that we have, the perennially growing glamour of advertisements and all that forces us to go for stuff which is beyond what we need. That becomes what we would call as a life based on wants. If you can just buy a very simple car and manage with it to travel, say, a very short distance within city to work for some purchases or taking a family out, yet we'll end up spending 10, 20, 30 times more because of our ego saying this is what we want. The same is true for even spiritual aspirants. Many times the guru or the master exactly gives you what you need. Yet we want some fanciful conditions. We want some fanciful approaches, not even knowing what it can do for us or what it won't do for us. If only we are able to internalize this learning for the rest of our life. When I continue to interact with many people during this pandemic, one thing that many people share in common is it has made life very, very, very simple. Earlier, if they had a budget which was 10x for a month, nowadays they say that almost in 2.5x to 3x they're able to manage and they're actually still happy. But yet, have we really internalized? Is there something that we can learn for sure from this exercise and carry it forward? I want to share a very simple acronym, PRDP, with which we will be able to look at deciding between need and want. What is this PRDP about? If you're able to practice it for a day to start with, so assuming for the next 24 hours from the time you listen to this video, just practice this and see the benefits that you get. And if you're able to sustain it for 2 or 3 more days, maybe a week, maybe a time will come when it will become quite automatic. The PRDP is an acronym which stands for pause, reflect, decide, and then proceed. As we all know, a need or a want is finally based on the decision that we make. The decision that we make to go for that extra serving or for that additional fancy food or that additional fancy dress that we actually don't need but we want. a new styled phone or any consumer durable, maybe a clothing or a perfume or whatever, or even for that matter, when it comes to the spiritual life, the need is consistent progress according to what the master wants to bestow. The want is to continuously compare and seek something, even in an abstract frame, as to what we believe is what we actually need, but actually it borders on being a want. The moment you are able to pause, give sufficient time. For some people it's about a minute, for some people it's about 5 minutes, for some people it could be a half an hour. It also changes based on the intensity of the decision, the magnitude of the decision, the size of the decision. The moment you have to take a decision which will decide whether you are going on the right road, on the need road, or do you want to jump and move into the want road, just pause. Reflect. These are two faculties available in abundance to all of us. It's not something that is very difficult. All you have to do is pause, reflect on the choices. Even if you have to eat a meal, before you splurge, as they say, even on the meal plate, just pause for a few seconds. Do I really have to go for this? Is it just a craving, or is it really that I need? Is it what my body really needs? Many of the health issues we all know is caused by that extra serving of food that we take, or the things that we should not be consuming. Yet the tongue tells you. But it has been proven scientifically, by introducing a pause before you actually jump and act. Many times it's very easy for us to stop at the level of a need instead of moving into want. Life will become very simple. Pause, reflect. By this time you are very clear what these choices mean to you, the consequences of the choices, whether they're going to be beneficial in the short, medium, long run, or are they going to prove detrimental to your interest on the health front, on the personal front, on the spiritual front, or whatever. We all have to only use our viveka, our ability to discriminate. Once you do that, pause, reflect, then you move into decide. And once you decide, then you proceed. Life becomes much more simpler. Use it for a day. If it works, stretch it for one more day, use it for one more day. Before the pandemic runs out and life comes back to full normal, when we will all be accessing everything as if nothing had ever happened before, make the habit change and see the permanent benefits that you'll be getting for the rest of your life. I wish you the very best. Thank you.